Hi, this is Louis Paul's The Colors of Prague, where I review progressive rock recordings, past and present, from all over. Today, Anderson Stolt, the invention of knowledge, and the Flower King, Stardust We Are. And there's a connection, I'm going to get to it. John Anderson met Roy Stolt um, when John and Transatlantic, band Roy plays with, joined forces on the Progressive Nation cruise at the urging of Mike Portnoy, also with Transatlantic at that time. I wish I could have seen that in person. Apparently, they were both on that cruise as well as other bands. And John played a set with Transatlantic singing. Inside Out Recordings, who was also on the cruise and puts out a lot of music from a lot of progressive bands and artists, suggested John and Roy collaborate. But John didn't want to make a progressive rock album at the time, just progressive music. So Stolt, long a John Anderson fan, uh, and just check out many of the yes influences in some of the Flower Kings music and their extensive discography, um, including Roy's 1994 solo album, The Flower King, a not too subtle tribute to John. So they worked it out. So guest stars like Jonas Reingold on bass and vocals, Tom Brislin on additional keyboards. Invention of Knowledge is superb symphonic prog at its best. It sometimes gets overshadowed by John's own solo work and recordings with Vangelis until True, his most recent album. It's remarkable that, unlike True, where John had a close working relationship with Richie Castellano of the Band Geeks, much, if not all, of Invention of Knowledge consisted of John sending digital vocal files to Roy, who with Jonas Reingold added music, and even if it was discarded Flower Kings material. And when fine-tuning his songs, Roy was able to add harmony vocals, his own, and other backing vocals, send it back to John. He also stitched several songs together. They didn't appear to be complete songs. So they created 4 mini prog epics, and they ended up with 9 tunes. And John submitted, if not much more of that, but I think Roy and Jonas kind of figured out, well, what can we do with this? And the result was Invention of Knowledge. Knowing, everybody heals, and know. Those are the best ones. Stolt must obviously a big fan of Tales from Topographic Oceans and Elias of Sunhill, as he did a fine job of being influenced by him while being by embellishing some of this fine music with his really good guitar playing and lots of dreamy keyboard sounds. So now, if you like True, which is a more recent John Anderson album, you would probably like this. It's different. And as I noted, if John Anderson fans missed this album, you should check it out. Elias, Tales from Topographic Ocean fans, I think you would really like that. Now, a bit more about Roy Stolt, the Swedish multi-instrumentalist. Um, in his birth country, he was in a prog band called Kaipa, K-A-I-P-A, in the 1970s. They recorded 3 albums for the Musea label, or CDs, and after leaving, he formed Fantasia, another well-regarded Swedish band. And they recorded 2 albums. Then he did a John Anderson Yes-inspired solo work called The Flower King, which I just mentioned. That was released in 1994, and it set the stage for the birth of the band, the Flower Kings, in 1995. Much of the band members who had backed him on that solo album became the Flower Kings. That's how the band started. Now, Roy Stolt and the Flower Kings are incredibly prolific. Since 1995, they've released 16 studio albums, and some of them double discs. The Flower Kings music is a little King Crimson inspired, crazy weird rhythms, a bit of ELP, occasional bombast here, a little Zappa. Ryan quite well plays an impressive guitar, and occasionally there's the weird nonsense song. So Zappa connection there. And of course, there's Yes, with magisterial layers of keyboards and synthesizers. No, yes, Roy can sound a bit like a less baritone John Wetton. And he can write a melody like heck. And he is quite prolific, as I said. Also, he's in the Prog supergroup Transatlantic, featuring members of the Neil Morris band Marillion and Spocksbeard and Dream Theater. So the guy's always busy. Stardust VR delivers 20 songs over 2 hours of music, 130 minutes to be precise. And I decided to say it's an impressive place to jump in if you're unsure where to start with the Flower Kings. Church of Your Heart is like a keystone of their melodic prog meets neo-prog sound. Speaking of which, there's quite a bit of church organ played by keyboardist Thomas Bodine, who also plays the Fender Rhodes, Hammond Mellotron, and even the Optagon. Remember those? Look that one up. There's some acoustic moments too, like the Too Short For Me Rain's Ordinary Guitar. The almost Renaissance, the era, not the band, feel of The Man Who Walked with Kings brings us acoustic guitar and a quiet keyboard until it builds into a nice camel-like tune with some frippertronic backwards guitar. Ryan Stolt is definitely a really good guitarist, and he's not mentioned so much in that manner. He turned 68 on September 5th, so the guy's got a lot of energy. Circus Brimstone, now these are all songs from Stardust VR, delves into almost goblin territory, I kid you not, with near dark keyboard shadings, pulsing heartbeat percussion, and stop-and-go rhythms. Nearly convincing me it was intentional. Like most of their other studio recorded work, this Flower Kings record consists of a second disc, the highlight being the epic length Stardust VR, which is 26 minutes long. And it's a song they occasionally still bring out when playing live. Like you hear that, you're like, well, it's rare to hear that whole thing in its entirety. Now, I have to say, Roy Stolt's songwriting is a bit quirky, but he certainly has a bit of a pop genius ear for songwriting. So no wonder why the band has become so popular with prog fans worldwide. And yes, he fits in quite well as a counterpart to Neil Morris and Transatlantic. Now, rumors are that Transatlantic may have played their last live show in 2024. As an addition, beside releasing the Behemoth Absolute Universe studio album in 2023. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Anderson Stolt, Invention of Knowledge, how that happened. I think it's a really good album. John Anderson fans would love it if they don't know about it, kind of under the radar. And of all the Flower Kings albums out there. There's a lot of good ones. I really have an affinity for Stardust VR. So that's the show today. Thank you for watching.